What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chaser. So I know you saw a little change up there. You probably got worried and wondered, is this the Green Gorilla channel? Like the intro is different. No, it's just a different intro, man. You got to switch it up sometimes. Before I get started, I want to give a shout out to all of the members of the Green Gorilla channel. So let's do that now. I want to give a shout out to NEU, Rowan Martin, Black Quizzard ADOS, Camp Low, Issa Abdul Zahir, Anthony Taylor, Deshaun Nolly, Ab Media 83, Aaron Lloyd, Leroy Honeycutt, MLR, Julius Ferguson, Charles Rogers, Black Dog, Brother Love, Ryan Jackson, Infamous Chillin', Randall, Universal 178, Blacksword 404, Rashid Barnes, Aaron Smith, The Walt Diddy Show, DH, C Truth the Revelator, Gold Professor, The Nameless Protagonist, Black Pill Ned Stark, Author Unknown, Odd Collard, Roderick Jackson, Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Brian Williams, Kalan Jakala, Sherrod Martin, Ricky Dawson, Cedric Bowman, True 7360, BK Born Shahid, James Washington, Hostile Adept, Seven Coast Dojo, Shop Talk Live, WPR1, Roguish the Buildmonger, I Care, Force Windu, Lady Miss Thing Green, BGS Ibmore, and Marvin Battle Jr. Thank you for being members of the Green Gorilla channel. And if you want to become a member of the Green Gorilla channel, well, this is how you do it. What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chaser. Today, I want to introduce you to my new membership program that consists of 5 levels where you can invest in the Green Gorilla channel on a monthly basis and receive level-specific perks. Memberships are special because they improve the quality of the content of the channel and will help me to be able to keep the channel going. Now, to participate in the Green Gorilla channel membership program, all you have to do is hit the join button, which is located right next to the subscribe button on my channel page. Now, for all of my subscribers who decide not to participate in my membership program, nothing will change. The content will keep coming the way it always has. Thanks for watching, and be careful out here, people. Bless. Okay, so we're back. I'm the G with a PhD. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chaser. And today, what I'm going to do is give you a rundown on General Electric. Now, I can just say this. I kind of notice that most people, when they think of General Electric, they have a specific kind of thought in mind. I guarantee you that. Most people think of General Electric and they don't think of what I'm thinking about. But let me go to my presentation, man, to get this out of the way. I think I started on the wrong page, but it don't matter, man. I'm not freestyling, but at the same time, I'm not about to get bent out of shape over any of this. All right, so let me go back to the beginning. All right, so thank you, Ian Graves, for holding me down in the chat, and greetings to everyone out there. Cynical Optimist, greetings to you, Ian Graves again, Universal 178, Malika Mabane, Vancouver guy, Cortez Smith, and whoever else just so happens to be out there, okay? So anyway, man, let me get back to this. So basically, this is, I think, video number 4 or 3. I can't remember, man. It's one of a list of videos that I'm doing about the media and how the media portrays black men. And it's important because your image, your reputation is everything. The way you're regarded in the media can have more of an impact than your actual lived life, the actual life that you live. because more people consume the media and they form ideals about who you are in the media more so than they do in real life. So, in other words, what I'm trying to articulate to you is that the media has a real world impact on your life. If you're a black man, media portrayals can lead to lowered life chances for black males. So, therefore, it becomes important to examine those companies that portray men in a negative light, black men in a negative light. And you have to know what they're doing, these companies, and how they're doing it so you can respond to it. My guess is that instead of black men occupying positions as writers, producers, directors that can preserve the dignity of the image of black men, you have a whole host of people who have a staked interest in maligning the character of black men in order to cozy up to whiteness. That's my guess. So when you see black portrayals in the media, you're going to see deprecating images because, first of all, the media has been portraying black men in a negative light since the media began, especially the major motion picture industry. The first major motion picture, again, D.W. Griffith's The Birth of a Nation. That set the tone right there. Black men, immediately after the Civil War, during the era of Reconstruction, were typecast as apes, really, on the screen. Monkeys who would take over governmental institutions and the Congress and the courtrooms, and they would they would lust after white women and take them from the good white citizens, the good white male citizens. So the black man, once portrayed as a kind, benevolent, and gentle, passive creature, all of a sudden became an ignorant, violent, brutal rapist. And that image persists to this day in one form or the other. The archetype hasn't shifted. It hasn't changed. And in many ways, black men contribute towards this kind of imagery and iconography themselves through what I call the negative evaluation of honor. It's the idea, well, if you're going to call me a rapist, a thug, a nigger, I'm going to be a good one. I'm going to be a damn good one. If I'm going to be a thug, I may as well be a good thug. But again, you better watch your image. You better watch your reputation. I remember in the movie Malcolm X, or in the book written by Alex Haley about Malcolm X's life, you had Archie, the West Indian, who was the numbers runner. And he said to Malcolm, all I got is my rep. I lose my rep, I lose everything. It's your reputation. Your reputation matters. It matters. And Neon Grays, I see you asking about my stream to Facebook. I don't know what happened to it. I did have it set up to go on Facebook, but right now they're banning people for various reasons on Facebook, and I have no idea what's going on there. So I'm not gonna stress it tonight. We on live like Memorex, so we're gonna keep it pushing. So anyway, your reputation is important, and unfortunately, black men don't have the kind of influence on the media the way I think we should. Not in this day and age. Maybe in years past, you had some notable figures who tried to have a positive impact on the media for black men and to represent black men as functional characters, not dysfunctional, crime-laden, step-and-fetch-it, ignorant, uneducated brutes. But not as, it's a lot of what you get. It's a lot of what you get. So we want to talk about the ways in which black men are being deprecated, maligned, defamed by the media. Now, if you don't know, I've told you before, there are 6 major media companies in the United States. You got General Electric, you got News Corp, you got Disney, Viacom, Time Warner, and CBS. They control all of the media. They control what you watch in relation to movies. They control what you watch on television and streaming services. They control what you watch on cable. They control the kind of articles that are published that you consume on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. They control what you read when you buy a book, whether it be fiction or nonfiction. These people are deep into your psyche. So in other words, you really don't have control over your own reputation. You don't even get to have an influence or an impact on the kind of images that are projected about members of your own demographic. You don't. And that's problematic in and of itself. That you can't be a conservator of your own imagery and iconography. You're not even a representative of your own beliefs, desires, and reasons. Somebody else creates them for you. And oftentimes they distort your meanings, your reasons, and your desires. But anyway, we're going to talk today about General Electric. And we're going to talk about General Electric as a media company that is a mayor purveyor of anti-black misandry. Now, when you think about General Electric, you typically do not think about media. You just don't. When you think about General Electric, you think about refrigerators and ranges and ovens and dishwashers and microwaves. That's what you think about. You think about appliances. And if you don't think about that, you think about things like the light bulb, right? That's what you think about when you think about General Electric. However, I will have you know, say light bulbs. Ding! That's what you think about. And Mr. Loof is correct. Yes, Mr. Loof is correct. General Electric owns NBC. That's correct. So you are jumping ahead. You'd be the kind of student I'd be like, man, why don't you keep your mouth quiet for a little minute, man? You ain't got to throw off the lecture, man. You ain't got to throw the lecture all off, bruh. But I'll take that though. Yes, they own NBC. Now, I'm going to explain to you what General Electric's 4 most profitable businesses are. And to be quite honest, it ain't even the media. It's not even the media. The 4 most profitable businesses that GE operates by are healthcare, the healthcare industry, the industrial power industry. Also, they are an influential market, well, they have a lion's share of market share related to renewable energy. And also, increasingly, they're becoming influential and are gaining a market share in the area of aviation. Now, this is, Trouble Man says weapons. Trust me, anybody who goes from consumer, right? If you go from consumer to industry, then you got to know that you're becoming a major partner in the way that the country's resources are distributed and the way that the infrastructure of the nation, the supply and demand for emergencies along the lines of natural disasters, conflicts, they've become a major player. They've moved beyond the realm of consumer products. They're now an industrial player. Okay? So, when you think about GE, don't think about the light bulb anymore. Think about MRIs, X-ray machines, the kind of industrial equipment that's used in clinics and in hospitals. Okay? Think about turbines and machines that transfer energy from one form to another, that can transfer the flow of energy from water into electricity, right? Or from wind to electricity. Yes, General Electric is a major player. Also, General Electric, like Jerome says, General Electric is a major player in the development of aircraft and the parts for aircrafts. So yes, they're out here. They're out here. And they've moved from the company, because I remember, being a youngster, some of the televisions in the household were made by General Electric. Some of the washing machines that we had were made by General Electric. Some of the stoves were made by General Electric. GE sold that off. That's little boy stuff. They don't do that anymore. They've moved to major industrial products. So now when they buy and sell, they sell and buy big. And they're not selling to you. They're selling to the government, or they're selling to major multinational corporations. They're selling to hospitals, bureaucracies. That's what they're selling to. Okay? But it just so happens, though, that in conjunction with aviation, in conjunction to and with their holdings in renewable energy, and with power, and with healthcare, they also, General Electric, they also hold media companies. They have media holdings. Yes, yes. They own Comcast. They own NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, etc. They own Universal Pictures and Focus Features. So GE is a major media player. Again, there's only 6 companies. Only 6. I told you what they are. And they control the kind of images that are projected on screens all throughout America and beyond. And yes, make sure you make a donation, man. If strike the thumbs up button if you like. If you care, go ahead and share. If you want to know when I go live, then go on ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. And also be a good patron and make a donation. Simple solution, make a contribution. I'm providing a service for you here. Okay? So, at any rate, I know a lot of y'all like to hear a lot of hooping and hollering, and from time to time I do that. But this is a day of information. It's not a day to go off on people. And a lot of y'all like the sensationalism associated with talking about women and how fucked up they are. And yeah, they are fucked up to some degree. Y'all love that shit. You want to hear a nigga go off on and talk about the gynocracy and all this bullshit. And there's a space for that. There's a time and a place for that. But if that's all the manosphere is, the manosphere is heading for fucking destruction. It's heading for fucking disaster. You got a bunch of grown ass men. All they doing is talking about women 24/7. If you don't like what I said, get the fuck on. I'm just telling you the truth, man. One could argue there's nothing more impactful than the media. So a motherfucker can say anything they want to about you over and over all day, every goddamn day. But if you have control over your image, the way you're presented to the world, let them talk. Let them communicate. Let them say what they got to say. But I'm not going to sit here, man, and every day try to hold your attention by, getting ratings and shit, talking about bad mouthing, women and shit like that. Come on, man. Now, I don't mind giving it to you raw and talking about that from time to time. But we got to be dimensional, ambidextrous. We got to do more than just, talk about women. Because we got problems that run deeper than that. You better understand what I'm telling you here, man. We got problems that run deeper than that. I did a show on Sunday, early in the day, and I had Cleo Monago on the show. And we talked about same gender loving men, gay men, members of the LGBTQ community, whatever you want to call it. But we also talked about how we don't have to just worry about that. You saw the thumbnail. It's more than just black women. It's more than just gay people or members of the LGBTQ community. It's more than just trans women. It's a whole host of players that got, their sights trained on your black ass. It's a whole bunch of sites trained on you, bruh. So we can't just focus on one element. You got to be ambidextrous and multidimensional. I'm just telling you. So let me get back to what I'm doing, man. So I will be the first to admit that there are some okay movies that, and I'm primarily focusing on what comes out of Universal Pictures. Okay? Universal Pictures. And the reason I'm primarily focusing on what comes out of Universal Pictures is because that's the bulk of the media that they have. Okay? Now, like I said, I must admit there are some movies that I like that are on Universal Pictures that don't cast black men in a negative light. Okay? So let's cover them now. But I will say this. You already know that when you look, all you have to do is just go and check online. All you have to do is look. Look up any of the big 6 media companies and take a gander at the media that they've created and what they've produced. You'll be hard pressed to see on each page where the media is presented to you, you'll be hard pressed to see black faces. They're interspersed like little dots here and there, little sprinkles of chocolate. Most of these movies are created by white people, produced, directed, starred in by white people for the entertainment of white people. So very rarely do you have movies or media that is directed by, produced by the black demographic. But when you do come across it, some of it is okay. A small portion of it is okay. And that depends on the people who are creating it or who's starring in it. Like, so the movie Best Man, I thought that was an okay movie. You know the movie Best Man. It's all right. Most of the movies that Spike Lee makes are okay. Drop Squad is one of those movies. I don't know if you've ever seen Drop Squad. It's an okay movie. 40 Acres and a Mule's productions are okay with me. Black Klansman, it's an okay movie. It's not an accurate movie, but it's okay. It's not accurate, but it's okay. Thank you, Jerome. I see you out there, my brother. Thank you. Brewster's Millions. Now, let me just say this. Richard Pryor, a genius comedian in his era, okay? Some of the movies he kind of cooned and shucked and jived around in, but I think towards the end of his life, he made some pretty decent movies. The movie The Toy was some shucking and jiving nigga shit to me. I'm just being real about that. But Brewster's Millions was an okay movie, I think. Richard Pryor was Adam Sandler before Adam Sandler. Okay? That's how I portray Richard Pryor. Or how I think of Richard Pryor. He was Adam Sandler before Adam Sandler. Okay? Then you got these movies with these star-studded casts like Bingo, Long Traveling, the All-Stars, and Motor Kings. That was a great movie, I think. Especially in an era in which you didn't have a lot of black people on the screen. You got Billy D, James Earl Jones, Richard Pryor, a whole host of black folks in the movie, you know. And you see black men playing baseball. I think CB4, even though it was coonish to a certain extent, I still think it was good in that it kind of mocked or it made fun of the West Coast hip hop industry or the West Coast rap music industry. And I think that was necessary at that time. I think it was a good move. Although I do think it was a little coonish. But I think it performed some semblance of social commentary towards these rappers. So it's okay to me. Do the Right Thing, I think was a great movie. Even though Major Payne was a little bit of coon, it still was a movie in which you saw a black man who was rough on kids, but he wanted to see those kids develop and grow into the best versions of themselves as possible. And although Major Payne was, you know, a caricature, he still was not a drug addicted criminal. He was somebody who actually was working towards helping to make black boys productive and white boys productive, males in general. He was a good male role model. And I think the Nutty Professor movie was good. I think the Nutty Professor movie was good. So that, I mean, there are a whole host of TV shows and movies that I think Universal Pictures has put out that's been okay. So I admit that. I admit that. But I do also understand that Universal Pictures has also put out a whole host of movies that are deprecating to the image of black men. And the range of characters and the roles afforded to black men within the context of this company, a lot of them have been disastrous. And yeah, Dollar Will says the Cosby Show, obviously. Yes, the Cosby Show, obviously. But I'm talking about movies more so than I'm talking about TV shows. Okay? So I just have to be honest. Okay? So I'm saying, okay, there are some good movies. But I'm saying that the bad, a lot of times, outweighs the good. And it's not just the quality of the movie, it's what you decide to represent on the movie. It's what you decide to focus on in reference to characters and people. The people who garner attention. Like, for instance, this was a good movie. But why do we have to get this image? Why is it necessary to focus on this character? Okay? I'm talking about American Gangster. Now, why take us through this? Why? Why was it necessary to give us this? So you got Denzel Washington, which I love Denzel, okay? You got Russell Crowe. I like Russell Crowe. Then these actors teamed up with Ridley Scott. We know who Ridley Scott is. For this epic story, and it's a true story, okay? Or loosely based on a true story. So the blurb says, armed with ruthless, streetwise tactics and a strict sense of honor. Well, I don't know why they say that, but strict sense of honor, yeah, sure. Crime boss Frank Lucas rules Harlem's chaotic drug underworld. When outcast cop Richie Roberts sets out to bring down Lucas's multi-million-dollar empire and plunges both men into a legendary confrontation. American Gangster is a brutal and brilliant film. Now, what are my problems with the movie? Well, my problem is that, first of all, it's directed by Ridley Scott, a person that refused to depict biblical figures as people of color. Even if it weren't black people, we know they weren't white people. But I mean, you know what his comments were? Well, nobody's going to pay to see a Muhammad so-and-so. So we got to portray the characters as white in order to get money. Black people, the last time I checked, and people of color, especially in the United States, they're beginning to turn the tide on the demographics. So people of color, whatever the case may be, they're going to want to see their own images on the screen. Because Muhammad and so in them might have some bread. And they might have streaming services. And they might buy tickets to the movies. But I digress. And these people who are non-white, they don't necessarily want to be bombarded with these negative stereotypes about who they are and what their potential is. Now, I'm not saying there's no place for these kind of movies. There is. But it's far too many of them, is what I'm saying. So the only thing, that I got a problem with is I'm tired of seeing movies where black men are criminals, they're violent, they're ruthless, and they're dishonorable people. I want to see some movies where black men are actually normal people faced with extraordinary circumstances and do extraordinary things. Even while just merely being human. They don't even have to be superheroes. They just have to do something that's heroic. Or they may even suffer from something that's tragic. But show us something other than the gun-toting, smack-dealing criminal. Please. That's all I'm asking. But then that just brings us to another movie. Good movies. I'm not saying this movie is not a good movie. It is a good movie. But you got to think about the imagery and the iconography alongside the quality of the movie. Okay? But it goes on. So not only are we cooked up as criminals and thugs and so on and so forth with American Gangster, but we got Carlito's Way, a movie about a crew who, after serving time together in prison, three gangsters from three different backgrounds. You got Carlito, Earl, and Rocco. Jay Hernandez, Mario Van Peebles, and Michael Kelly. They join forces and take over the lucrative heroin trade in Harlem, New York. But their partnership with the gangster is threatened when Earl's hot-headed little brother, some Negro, disrespects the mobster's son and then kidnaps him. A ransom goes out on Reggie's head, and the friends are forced to choose sides. So Mario Van Peebles' little brother, some Negro, disrespects the mobster's son, and then he does something stupid, and now the whole movie is centered around them having to deal with this stupid action. Some buffoonery, coonery shit. And then you got the black male typecast as not only a criminal, but a dumb one at that. Or one of the major characters. So there you go. More drug dealing, blacks and Latinos. Then you got more ideas about black men as professional criminals. And you have depictions of black men or black males handling their problems by means of violence and subterfuge, by deceit. Good movie. Not the best movie, but not a bad one. But still, it's the imagery, the iconography, the stereotyping. You can go on Universal's Pictures movie list and see hordes and hordes and hordes and hordes of movies about everyday white guys doing everyday white shit. That's why I want to see some everyday black guys doing some everyday black shit. Without all of the drug dealing, is what I'm saying. Next up, this is going to surprise you. I think it's anti-black misandrist, even though it's a good movie. One of the greatest movies, man. What I saw when I was a kid, still think it's anti-black misandrist. You got Conan the Barbarian. The story of an orphan boy, Conan, who is enslaved after his village is destroyed by the forces of the vicious necromancer Thusla Doom, played by James Earl Jones. Now, Conan is compelled to push the so-called wheel of pain for many years as a slave. But once he reaches adulthood, Conan sets off across the prehistoric landscape of the Hyborian Age in search of the man who killed his family and stole his father's sword. With beautiful warrior Valeria, who is Sandow Bergman, and archer Subotai, Gary Lopez, he faces a supernatural evil. Now, I loved this movie as a kid. And I love James Earl Jones in the movie. But damn, ain't it quite ironic how this is a movie where a white boy is the hero, where his family is destroyed and enslaved by who? By a black man. So the black man is the head of the unspeakable evil that needs to be destroyed. This is crazy to me. So you got a movie in which you got a black man enslaving a white boy being shown to theaters or shown in theaters all across America where we know that the inverse was the case. And the funny thing about it is you got a whole bunch of white people looking at this shit, which to them, they see movies like this and they feel justified in defending themselves with violence in order to bring about their own imagination. Their own liberation imaginarily on the screen, but let somebody in real life be thrust in the same conditions. The first thing they'll say, well, we can't solve any problems by violence. We can't protest that way. They'll be the first motherfuckers clapping their hands, standing up and cheering, throwing popcorn around, while an imaginary character frees himself from an oppressive, violent, dominating situation. But if you experience this in real life, in this country, no holds barred, buddy. You better not do that. Can't do that. That's off limits there, buddy. You got to hold hands and do it the peaceful way. The next movie I got, man, good movie to me. But it's the same trope, the same imagery and iconography again and again and again, man. New Jersey Drive. You got Jason, who's an impoverished youth growing up in the slums of New Jersey. He and his pal Midget get the thrills by stealing cars and taking them for joyrides. Eventually, the boys grow more serious about auto theft when they realize they can earn cash by passing off the lifted cars to black market dealers, which proves to be a risky way to make a living. Soon, Jason finds himself on the wrong side of the law and makes a dangerous enemy in his neighborhood. Now, what don't I like about the movie? I don't like that they, in this movie, just like in the movies, you see about black men committing crimes or being mob bosses, or if they're not mob bosses, they're killers and cutthroats or thieves or something like that. But the problem is, it's like a homogenization of black males' experience, man. We're not all criminals, bruh. We don't all come from the ghetto. There are actually some black men from the suburbs, man, that have like 2-parent homes and shit that are normal. Like, for real. One could argue few and far in between today, given the number of single mothers or whatever the case may be, but god damn, not everybody's from this black is from the fucking hood. And not all black males who are from the hood, even if they're from the hood, go through criminal phases. Or go through periods of their life where they are criminals. Some people from the hood are normal, and they avoid and sidestep that. And think about this. How many boys saw this movie and went out and replicated the behavior that they saw on the screen? How many people went out and started carjacking because they saw New Jersey Drive? Not to say that, that the art wasn't imitating life and that it wasn't happening or occurring beforehand, but don't you probably think there was a spike in this kind of activity after this movie came out? So anyway, to me, what it is the regurgitation of the urban criminal thing. Again. But it doesn't stop there, because we got more of it. We got waist deep. You got Tyrese there. You got Lorenzo Tate there. Anyway, the movie's about O2, Tyrese, who's an ex-con. Of course he's an ex-con. Who's trying to straighten up for the sake of his son, Lil Junior. after a carjacking. So he gets carjacked while they got Lil Junior in the car. And Lil Junior is now in the hands of a vicious criminal leader. Of course he is, because you know black people are just vicious criminals. So O2 turns to a street smart hustler named Coco, who is making good, for help. So heat between the pair rises as they go around the law to save Junior and outwit the hoodlums at their back. What do I have a problem with? First of all, O2 is a ridiculous name for a black man. Ridiculous. I see you, Vernon King. I see you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I can't see what's going on. I just see what's on my phone because I got my presentation on my phone, so I don't have to see all this the borders and the ugliness associated with doing it manually from my computer. But anyway, I don't like the movie because it's more criminal and ghetto themes. Again, it's a movie in which black men are violent and use force and fraud to engage other people in their community. More and more criminal hood shit. More ghetto shit. More hood and ghetto shit. And look, there would be nothing wrong with this if it was also tempered by other normal depictions of black life. But there are none. This is the way we're presented. As criminals. Primarily. There's movie after movie after movie with us depicted as troubled people who are consistently coming out of one calamity to another in relation to criminal activity. Now, these movies take a lot of money to produce. Millions of dollars, man. It requires entire crews of people to make them. Writers, producers, directors. The coordination that it takes to make a movie is ridiculous. The amount of people. All of this energy and effort put forth into projecting images of black men as criminals. Another movie that, and I like this brother, man. I really like him as a comedian. And to some degree, I think he was trying to do something political with the movie. But as far as I'm concerned, the movie comes off being Stepin' Fetchit-ish, if you ask me. So, when I first saw the movie, I thought the movie was like, it's not all that great, not all that bad. But I just got the problems with the imagery in the movie. So, anyway, you got Undercover Brother. So blasted from the past and ready to take care of business, Undercover Brother is recruited to infiltrate a sinister underground movement headed by the Man. Partnered with the sassy, stunning sister girl, our hero must first undergo the ultimate attitude adjustment and trade in his fro and platforms for tennis sweaters and penny loafers. Once the transformation is complete, he's ready to take on the evil perpetrators of Operation Whitewash. Now, look, we all know that, black men are multi-dynamic, multi-dimensional. They come from different backgrounds. They come from different social and economic classes. They have different experiences familially. But some black people come from educated families, man, with parents that are college educated. And some people may perceive that these people are being persnickety or that these people are Oreos or so on and so forth. But what if they're just normal black people? Black people come in more than one shape and size and background. Show some diversity here. Anyway, man, what do I have a problem with? First of all, it's a simplistic treatment of racism and about code switching and cultural shifting. Some black people, man, go to work, man, and they have to code shift and they have to, dress the part as they enter into these white spaces in order to take care of their families. Now, we understand that there could be a little step and fetch it and cooning going on by various members if they of the black community if they become ingratiating. But it's unfair to typecast all black men who are professional and who negotiate white spaces in this manner. Also, got a problem with the image of black men as naturally cool and hip and so brother this and so cool nigga that. What is that, man? Just because you're cool don't mean every black man is cool. You got some black nerds out there, man. They're normal too, bruh. And another thing I got a problem with is, the movie portrays black men or the black man as naturally lusting after white women, which in the movie is depicted as the black man's kryptonite, the white woman. But anyway, going back to the crime shit, this is a movie that I like the movie. I remember seeing this movie on Netflix when it first came out. On Netflix. Not when it first came out in movie theaters. When it first came out on Netflix. I remember seeing it and being amused by it. But then I thought to myself, damn, here's another movie. Well, let's see what the company itself, Universal Pictures, has to say about it. High school senior Malcolm Shameik Moore and his friends Jib and Diggy bond over 90s hip-hop culture, their studies and playing music in their own punk band. A chance encounter with a drug dealer named Don lands Malcolm and company at the dealer's nightclub's birthday party. When the scene turns violent, they flee. With the ecstasy that Dom secretly hid in Malcolm's backpack, a wild adventure ensues as the youths try to evade armed thugs who want the stash. So I think A$AP Rocky is the guy who put the dope into the backpack. And you got a guy who's not really gangster or anything, but he's got to deal with a gangster situation. And look, man, I just got a problem with it. Anyway, man, look. It's still a depiction of black people as having an intrinsic connection to drug dealing culture. And it's another connection, or another way to tether black people to criminal activity. And the movie relies on stereotypes about black people in order to break them. And, I got a problem with black kids, and these are black nerds who find themselves in this predicament. But I'm like, damn, why can't they go through another predicament? Why does it have to have something to do with dope, man? Some more dope. Dope and dope and dope and dope and dope. We come next to Girls Trip. You got 4 best friends known as the Flossy Posse. They've grown apart over the years, yet one of the friends is offered an opportunity to be a keynote speaker at the Essence Music Festival in New Orleans. She decides to bring along her friends to her work vacation she decides to bring along her friends to turn her work vacation into a girls' trip. Along the way, they rekindle their wild side by dancing, drinking, brawling, and romancing to excess. Now, we've seen this movie, man. I know I saw the movie, and I wasn't impressed by it, man. Because in the movie, black men are objects, they're utilities. Black men are walking phalluses. Black men are abusers and cheaters. And within the context of this movie, black men are subjected to female violence. Their need and the nuts and other ridiculous shit. As if it's justifiable. It's problematic. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with that. You've seen this movie. You know what it is. Also, going back to the hood shit, How High. Now, I love Meth and Redman. There's nothing you can tell me about these Def Jam artists back in the day. Love them, man. But this movie is some coon shit. And they know it. They know this movie was some coon shit. They knew it was some coon shit. Anyway, man, multi-platinum rap superstars Redman and Method Man star as Jamal and Silas, two regular guys who smoke something magical. So they smoke something magical, which enables them to ace their college entrance exams. And they wind up at Harvard. Smoking the sticky icky gets them into Harvard, right? The magical dope. The Ivy League ways are strange, but Silas and Jamal take it in stride until their supply of supernatural smoke runs dry. Then they lose their intellectual capacity. Because, of course, they can't be innately smart. That's when they have to start living by their wits and rely on their natural resources to make the grade. Look, man, black men are culturally backwards and unsophisticated in this movie. They know that this movie is a caricature of black folks. These are two intelligent black men. They're two articulate black men. Who allow themselves to be played in this derogatory Stephen Fetchit manner for money. Also, the movie depicts black men as these rampant drug abusers and users. Also, it depicts black men as anti-intellectual. Because black men actually are intellectual and they are progressive. You win some and you lose some with this one. You really don't win anything if you're a black person, though, if you're a black male, by the depiction of the characters in this movie. They could have done better than that. But, I guess they were looking for the cha-ching, the cash out. Another movie. And I only got like about 7 more slides, so it's about to come to a close. It's a Monday. I'm tired of doing this shit already. Night School. This is the first movie that Kevin Hart played in. So you got Teddy Walker, who is Kevin Hart, a successful salesman whose life takes an unexpected turn when he accidentally blows up his place of employment. He accidentally blows up his place of employment. Buffoon coon shit. Then he's forced to attend night school to get his GED because although he's a superlative businessman, he's also uneducated and winging it, faking it till he makes it. Teddy soon finds himself dealing with a group of misfit students. His former high school nemesis and a feisty teacher who doesn't think he's too bright. Who's Tiffany Haddish. Okay? Now, funny, but unlearned, uneducated black male. That's the Stephen Fetchit coon little role. How many more of these roles do we have to see? Then you got, in the context of the movie, the domineering and salvific black woman who straightens out the ignorant, stupid, and unsophisticated black Negro. And then also, black men lack autonomy and serious resolve until some intervention is made by the more wise and prudent motherly character. And it also demonstrates that black men have to navigate the world through humor. Like, no, we don't. Here we go again, though. Paper Soldiers, straight to, I think it's straight to DVD movie, but still, Universal Pictures put the shit out. A rookie thief on the job training from a crew of bungling burglars. A rookie thief receives on the job training from a crew of bungling burglars. So you got Kevin Hart again, Beanie Siegel, Stacey Dash, Myth Bleak. But come on, man. The normalization of black male criminality, slapstick black humor, step and fetch it again. Again and again and again and again, criminal shit. Or step and fetch it shit. Then, TV, Law and Order. Television series. A long-standing television series. And this is the blurb for it. Filmed on location in New York, the drama showcases the sometimes complex process of determining guilt or innocence while lives hang in the balance. Often inspired by the latest headlines, the plots highlight legal, ethical, or personal dilemmas to which people can relate. Now, that's how they sell it. But here's the way I perceive it. Look, basically, Law and Order lionizes and humanizes police officers while dehumanizing and pathologizing people convicted of crimes. It promotes the idea that the system of justice is, for the most part, fair, when it's really actually not. Also, it always, or almost always, plays black men or puts black men in stereotypical scenarios or portrays them in stereotypical ways. You got the white cops who are human and sometimes they succumb to temptations and things like this, but the people who commit the crimes, for the most part, pathological. And we already know who represents the bulk of the people who commit crimes: black people, particularly black men. And this is part of the reason why, they support the blue. I love the blue so much. And I understand that black people need to be punished for the crimes they commit, but you also have to understand that black people are no more inclined to commit crimes than other demographics. Now, there are extenuating circumstances which cause men to commit, or black men to commit, violence against one another in heightened ways. But black men are no more inclined to sell or to use dope, which is the primary reason why there was so much of a bump in the increase of black men sent off to prison during the 90s. And even into the 2000s. There's a reason. So anyway, I got a little bit more to go. You got Telemundo. A lot of y'all don't even see Telemundo. Telemundo is not even something that black people watch. But Telemundo is. a television station that is predominantly Spanish, and they have come under fire for purportedly reporting on the rioting and looting that's taking place in the black community related to so-called Black Lives Matter in a negative way. They're portraying them the way the right wing wants, us to be portrayed. And this is all controlled by GE. They can stop that shit if they wanted to. Pump the brakes on it. But they let it go. They know what they're doing. They have people who are monitoring the quality of the content of their programmers on a daily basis. You can trust and believe that. None of this is left up to chance. None of this is just haphazard. This is all concerted, orchestrated. Not only that, you also have an entire consortium of AE affiliates who do reporting on crime. So one channel, I think is the Crime Investigation Channel, is the ultimate destination for crime investigating and mystery programming. Crime Plus Investigation opens the door to crime labs, police archives, the justice system, providing viewers with the behind-the-scenes look at criminal investigations, as well as in-depth explorations into the lives of infamous criminals. This is nothing more, again, than people who wish to humanize the people who are bureaucratically involved in locking people up. And look, let me just be honest here. America is the largest, one of the largest carceral states on the planet. It's the land of the free, the home of the brave, but we got damn near more people in prison than China. You got damn near 1 billion plus population in China. We got more motherfuckers in jail in the United States than they do in China, man. Land of the free. Home of the brave. Anyway, man. Also, I was going to do, and I'm going to show this to you if I can find it, because I'm about done now. Let me see. Let me find this shit. Lock up. Let me find this shit. I don't know if you ever seen this show. Let me put it in. Copy image. Let me put it into the presentation, man. Let me put this shit into this presentation. Add. I don't know if you ever seen the show Lock Up. You ever seen that show? Well, there you have it. You got the show Lock Up. And oddly enough, the show Locked Up, damn, why is it only showing this part? That's crazy. It's showing this little part where I have the, let me stop sharing that bullshit. Anyways, Lock Up used to be on MSNBC. So you got these liberals putting all of this liberal analysis out there for the public to consume. But as soon as the channel goes down, all they're showing is overnight programming to show you criminals, black males as criminals, black men locked away in prison, and the kind of culture that exists within the context of the criminal justice system. And you got to think about that. You got people who are part of the liberal establishment, who are openly critiquing the injustices of the criminal justice system. But then at the same time, soon as the channel goes off at night, all you see is nonstop criminal programming. Now, they took the show down because I guess, after all of these claims about, the mass incarceration phase of the United States, and the new Jim Crow came out and Michelle Alexander began talking about it on circuits around the nation, all of a sudden, it became like, okay, we got to pump the brakes on this. But that show went on for years, over a decade. I remember in jail, because I went to jail. I remember watching that shit in jail. And here's the problem, right? These kind of images and this kind of iconography, man, it leads to public perceptions about black people who've never actually been around black people other than in the context of their jobs or maybe in the context of their schools. But they still don't know they still don't know us. They don't know who we are. And they get ideals about who we are from rap videos and from movies and from television shows. But that's not who we are, man. It's not who we are. So we're going to have to start to take some active control over the kind of images that are portrayed. We need to start being writers, producers, directors, and there are some black men who do this. But damn, bro, what's the stories y'all coming up with, man? What stories are y'all coming up with nowadays, man? I hope and pray to God that all these black criminal stories, man, that shit will finally come to a close. I hope we move past that phase, like the blaxploitation phase. It's time for something different, man. But we have to demand it. We have to require it. We have to step up and say enough is enough with this imagery. Because these images have a negative impact on how people view us. And it has an impact over our life chances. These kind of programs create social death for us. And Kwaku Isasi is right. There are whole channels dedicated to showing deprecating images of black people 24/7. And they get you to commiserate with the police and all of this. And I'm not saying people don't do horrible things out there, but they make it seem like every day, all day, this is what's happening in America. People are doing, like these evil and vicious things. It's not the truth. The bulk of the time, black people are decent. The bulk of the time. Most of the time. Anyway, man, I'm about to take a quick break. If any of y'all want to make a comment, I'm going to leave you an opportunity to do so after I take this break. I'm inviting you in if you want to, because I'm about to cut it off at the hour and 30-minute mark. But if any of y'all got something you want to say, and all right, Noostal, man, I need to be able to get into contact with you, dog. I want to talk to you about something, if I can. But I'll be right back in a quick second, and then we can have a conversation if you want to. But if not, I'm out of this joint, man. So, quick break. What's good, y'all? I'm back. I'm the G with a PhD. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla Channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chaser. I told you I was going to do this. Right on, Team Rue. I see you. I told you I was going to do this every Monday until it was done. And I left an invite in case anybody wanted to say something, but I guess nobody wants to say anything. So I gave you over a minute to chime in. So ultimately, man, all I'm saying is we got to be better conservators of our own imagery. And when people put images out there about us, we need to have our own kind of non-defamation league. And if people won't do this work for us, we need to do it for ourselves. We need to team up with people who safeguard their images and say, look, we need to also safeguard ours. Because the way our imagery is being projected, it's not accurate. It doesn't match up to who we actually are. This is killing us. You don't see images about Jewish boys in movies being criminals and shit consistently. You see it about Italians. But that's not all you see. I'm just tired of the stereotyping and the typecasting. I want to see something different. Seven Coast Dojo says, meanwhile, there's a song, Pumped Up Kicks by Foster the People, which is a song about committing acts of violence on school children. Guess what type of people created at Green Gorilla? I guess black people. I don't know. I mean, black people are influential in their own deprecation at times, particularly rap music. And I call it the negative evaluation of honor. But I don't have any idea who that might be. Oh, white folks, Jews, I don't know. It's a white man. Pumped up kicks, huh? Well, I mean, look. Black people are not the only people that are violent. But I'm just tired of seeing stories that are centered around black dysfunction and violence. There's got to be something else for us out here. That's all. So, anyway, man, I'm about to get up on out of here. I got three more shows to do along this line. I think I got Time Warner to do, the Disney company, and Viacom. And then after that, I'm done with it. And it's up for us to decide how we respond to it. It's up to us. And I know it's not sensational. It's not me going off on women for an hour and 30 minutes and lambasting, people for being gynocratic or whorish or whatever the case may be. But this is necessary work just as much as any of the other work is. Bottom line. So, at any rate, I'll see y'all next time. I'll be here tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about democracy one last time and to explain to y'all why black tokenism is not the way to go politically. It's strategically unsound. It's not a beneficial practice that's going to gain us a lot of real estate in the years to come. From a utilitarian perspective, it doesn't do much work. So, at any rate, I'll check y'all out later. See y'all next time. One.
Yeah. I'm a phenomenon, I shine like Orion. I came in a rap gang to smack it up like Heron, transform it like Megatron. Wait, like Yamatron, most rappers are some peons. I'ma starve them like Ramadan, I'm troublesome. You don't really want no troublesome, cause I pop guns like hood chick, do bubble gum. I been dumb, gon' stay that way till kingdom come. When the sun I'm at, unleash a demon, a polygon. I'm heavy, son, got more knowledge than Farrakhan. More gang than Cap, comma that bitch, some name done one. Stay lit off some Shandan, maybe about they rum. Stay great to some Nordstrom, call me that Dapper Don. More violent than Genghis Khan, the members of Taliban. Niggas faker than silicon, get hit like a .com, like soldiers in Lebanon. I'm bringing that red rum. When I get through with you, son, you gon' think I'll see rap. I carry weight like a heavyweight, bake more cakes than patty cake. Watch the fiend salivate. You a lightweight, bantamweight. Better contemplate if you violate. Make you levitate to the pearly gates. I fascinate when I conversate from the show me state where these niggas love to hate and hot murder rate. What a waste, but this flow is just a taste of God's grace. Shining this light in the ugly place in the prophecy. Got more wisdom than Socrates' philosophies. You don't really want no parts of me, can't you see? I'm slicker than Mephistopheles, stronger than Hercules, more dangerous than Damocles. To MCs trying me pretty please. I wait up they white tees, knock them out they wallabies. Now they touch my deliries. For coming up shorter than little C's when I break out the killer bees. I study music like Ocasio, hit chicks look like Ashanti. When I'm breaking them off, they yell at odd poppy. You rack rappers is sloppy, you can't stop me with that. We can sorry, copy, malarkey. I'm a monster like Frankenstein, rock harder than Palestine. You slimes, dropping dimes, a snake and serpentine. Can't stand to see me glow like Nas with his big shine. All you haters cold in it, cold sores need calamine. But my hot shit like red brick hitting your head, leave a sour taste up in your mouth like lemon heads, like Simply Red. Wasted some years up in the feds when I touched down, already red, that gave me head. I got higher vision for higher living, I'm highly driven. I'm acting women like it's some sort of sick religion. Driving an Impala, sitting on it, these 20 inches, and they spinning just like the planets in the solar system.
Black country people, over in Africa, down to America. Black country people, we make all the world go round and around, yes. Black country people, up in Canada, down to Jamaica. Black country people, we make all the world go round and around.